Well, siblings in Christ of the Northern Texas, Northern Louisiana Synod, it's great to be with you again this week, bringing you a video word from our Synod ministries. Last week, I was joined by Janelle Miller, our youth gathering coordinator for Minneapolis 2021, getting an update on that ministry. And now today, I'm joined by Dr. Robert Smith, the director of Briarwood Leadership Center, and by Miss Avery Holly, our community engagement manager, and also is responsible for programming, in particular summer programming. And so I wanted to get an update from them about how this ministry in which we are so deeply invested is doing. So Robert, how are things at Briarwood?
Well, things at Briarwood right now, Bishop, are pretty quiet. With this pandemic, we've faced a bit of a challenge because most of the time, Briarwood has imagined that its primary mission has been to bring people together in a space to share with one another a word of Christ and to build each other up in our faith. And now we're not able to gather in space. So Briarwood is in a very quiet phase. Most of us are working from home. And so we've taken all these directives very seriously at Briarwood. At the same time, there's some exciting things happening. Because we don't have any guests on site, we can do work that we normally wouldn't be able to do. So right now, we're getting a lot of repairs done, a lot of smaller pieces done, and some major improvements to our facilities at Briarwood. We're using Mortimer the tractor, who was acquired last year and named by our summer camp. And so Mortimer is out digging new trenches to ensure that floodwater is properly managed. So we're doing major projects like that. And road improvement, we got a major load of gravel that was intended to go somewhere else, but got canceled because of this crisis. And so Chef Carlos, who many of you know, talked with his friend. We got a whole load of gravel for a super low price. So we're improving the road again using Mortimer. Things like that simply can't happen when we have guests on site. So we're making good use of this time.
Great. And I know that physical improvements are happening. There's also some really exciting things that have been happening online and conversations around coaching and other things that have been going on.
That's right. So now Briarwood is also beginning to live more fully into this idea of being a leadership center. Most people think of Briarwood as a camp or as a retreat center. We've been working on this idea of a leadership center for the past year and a half or so. And now, with that new phase already imagined, we're beginning to live into it fully. So we've been thinking about this time as one filled with loss and grief. And a lot of us don't know quite what we're feeling, but we know we're feeling something about this pandemic. And so we began thinking about how we as congregations and as leaders with faith might be responding to our community's needs beyond our congregations and thinking about society as a whole. So we've been looking at this concept of societal chaplaincy and expressing these feelings of loss, trauma, and grief that all of us have on some level or another, even if you haven't experienced the direct effects economically or health-wise of this pandemic. So we've been in conversation as Briarwood Leadership Center with NTNL, with ELCA coaching, and with ELCA federal chaplaincy to talk about how we might operate as societal chaplains responding to the broader needs. So just this past week, we had a really successful webinar talking about grief and loss as things we need to name and work with as part of this pandemic time. Through NTNL and your leadership, Bishop, we were able to open that conversation up nationally. So we had over 100 leaders from New York to Alaska as part of this conversation because we're all in this boat together. And so Briarwood is leaning into this idea of a leadership center, and we're seeing amazing success with this work that we're doing. So even though we're not able to do the things we think Briarwood is supposed to do, we're leaning into new possibilities and pivoting toward those possibilities as we imagine Briarwood in the future.
Well, that's part of the investment that we've made synodically in having a leadership center, the facility to be able to bring people together, yes, but also to do things wider out and broadcasting things. But right now, on a lot of our hearts and minds is summer camp. That's where a lot of our folks who supported Briarwood over the years resonate and connect with. And Avery, what is going on with summer camp? Are there plans for programming? What's happening?
Absolutely, Bishop. It's definitely been on my heart and mind, just like the rest of you. So the first thing I'd like to address is our summer theme. Yes, we do have a summer theme, and it's actually generation to generation. And it's a call to faithfulness during times of unpredictability and trial, which actually fits with kind of how a lot of us are feeling right now. And it talks about how being freed from fear, we can go where God calls us to go. So it looks at a lot of different Bible characters, and it talks about how God's love and God's promise for them travels all the way through, and how we can trust in him, and it comes from them all the way down to us. And that's pretty cool. And so with that theme, we are still planning a lot of pieces towards summer camp. Of course, we are looking to the CDC and our federal government to make sure that what we're doing is safe. That's our first priority here at Briarwood. And outside of the safety, once we have decided that it's safe, we are going for it. So all of our programs are currently open for registration. So once it's safe, we want to know if you guys want to come. So currently, we do have a survey that is out on our Facebook page, and we'd love to hear feedback from you guys. How are you feeling about summer camp when it comes to the safety? Once that piece is addressed, do you guys want to come? So those programs are available, and our staff is hired. And I can tell you guys, they are excited. They want to be at camp with you, and they want to learn with you. So right now, there's a lot of unpredictability and a lot of fear, and our theme addresses that, and we're very excited to see where this summer goes.
Great. Well, and I know my kids, I'm a camp dad, right? I'm a parent of campers.
Mm-hmm.
So I want my kids to be safe. I want them to have good programming, but they want to come to camp if they can. Now, if we can't do camp, you're not just going to sit around all summer, right? I mean, already you've been online doing things, your walks through the Bible that are available. We'll link to all these things in the email that'll go out with this. But talk to me about a couple other things. You know, my kids think if they can't go to camp, at least maybe they can have an online campfire with Avery.
Yeah, absolutely. We are looking into a lot of online programming that we could potentially do. One of the pieces that you already addressed is walking through the Bible. Myself and my trusty Bible, we walk through the gospel every single Sunday. And I've been having a lot of fun with that. So along with that, looking into potentially having some camp songs online, some campfires, and some other programming to really make sure that the people in our Briarwood community are supported this summer. If we can't have camp on site, we want to bring camp to you.
Great. And you're working with young adults too.
Yeah, I am, absolutely. I'm working with a few different pastors in our congregations, and we've reached out to some of our young adult community. So if that's you, reach out to us. Currently, we're doing two different things. We kind of post some different conversation pieces on Facebook. And then additionally, we're doing a fun movie study. So we look at movies that maybe aren't traditionally tied with faith and seeing how they work in our life as young adults and as Christians. So upcoming this Tuesday with Matt from Trinity, we're going to be doing Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So that's going to be a fun time. Feel free to reach out and join us.
I like to think that I qualify as a young adult, but I know I don't anymore.
You know, Bishop, I saw these things and I thought, oh, I'd like to do that. And then I was informed that I wasn't qualified.
We're not, but that's okay because that we can participate in other ways. On Saturday, Robert, we have a big thing coming up for Briarwood. What's happening on Saturday?
On Saturday, the 16th of May, we have the Briarwood Gala. You are invited to participate in this online experience of the gala. We have a lot of different ways we're trying to maintain our mission of building and sustaining community through Briarwood, and the gala is a huge part of that. We have a lot of different pieces coming through. So it's not just about raising money, it is about sustaining our community. But it is about raising money as well. So I don't want to forget that part. Because we do still have all of our staff employed. We've been happy to receive the PPP funding from the U.S. federal government. We're putting that fully to its intended use of keeping our staff fully employed. And that's it's still a big challenge for us when we look at that PPP period ending. And so we are counting on this gala to carry us through toward broader sustainability in the future. We have the live auction items are up online right now, ready for your bids, for your perusal. We've got a lot of exciting options there. We have a raffle for a major gift card. Now, we specified this for an airline ticket, but it doesn't necessarily have to go toward that. So we have an exciting opportunity in that raffle and some other ways to participate in the gala. We also have a ton of really cool videos. A lot of our young adults have gotten together to produce music for the gala that you would normally experience in that space. And they've been very generous with their time, their effort, and organization to put these things together. So we have people from young adults to older adults participating and putting the gala experience together, and we hope that you'll enjoy that next Saturday.
That's great, and the link to that donation will be at the end of this video. We'll make sure you have that, and it really is critical. Smart decisions have been made by the board, by leadership over the last several years to make Briarwood financially sustainable. And we had an amazing 2019, and so the challenge going into 2020 is dealing with this unprecedented, as people say, situation. And you guys are responding, and all of the staff is responding. Chef Carlos is out there doing other tasks because there's work to be done. So we encourage you to please support Briarwood in that ministry and that mission. Thank you so much for all that you already have done. And we encourage you to, again, participate in Avery's events and connect with us as we continue to do this work in mission together.